just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they did it! They did it!
Left, feet left.
What the hell was that?
Oh, yeah!
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yo, what's up, everybody? We are back. We are on a good schedule. I am on a clear screen. You can hear me. I can hear you. I can hear Brian. It's a glorious day. The little things that make us happy when technology starts working. But again, thanks for joining us again. Right now, I guess we're going to be back to these Tuesday, Thursdays, 1 hour piece. Until further notice. So it's good that we have a full week. Brian, what's up, my friend? How you doing?
Oh, brother, I am great. We've had quite the Euros going on. MLS is rolling. We got the transfer window open. We just got our Gold Cup roster revealed here. Things are good, man. Our sport just keeps rolling along where there seems to be controversy and turmoil everywhere else and all these other sports, and we just keep plugging along, nonstop action. So you gotta love it.
Yeah, there's always a lot to talk about, and it's hard trying to split it up with so much going on. With international play, this summer was supposed to be kind of like the break. Since Euros were supposed to be last summer, we would have had a nice just focusing on all the hoopla that's going on now that the transfer window's open. Also, we're going to be having Euros this summer, and we're going to have World Cup next summer. So I guess in that respect, we're pretty spoiled in international football regards, especially and hopefully if the U.S. men's national team makes it into said World Cup next summer. But that's for another show and another day. But we do have some U.S. men's national team news. They did release the Gold Cup roster this afternoon, and we kind of figured that was kind of the roster Greg Berhalter and his staff were going to pick. You got those fringe players like we were talking about before the show that's trying to make that World Cup qualifying roster. And some intriguing new faces that we were talking about, some familiar faces, and guys that are fighting to even stay up in this pool of maybe, for future call-ups, or are they going to go by the wayside? So it's going to be.
I love the way you just said that the pool, because our pool is getting bigger and bigger and deeper and deeper, and like this is a good problem to have, is having to come up with these rosters for all these different tournaments and starting to try to prioritize where we need to go here and what we need to do. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about that because, like you said, prior to the show, you and I talked, and there's definitely some intriguing names on there. Some names that I guess I know we both agree we could probably have done without, but at the same time, you do need some veteran leadership as well if you're going to go out and try and actually win this thing, which is the poll question. Do you think we can win this? And I implore anybody before they just jump in and answer and say, oh, well, we should, and this, that, and the other thing. I mean, go look at the roster, have a feel for the roster that some of these other teams are going to bring, because most likely you're going to get A squads from all the other teams in this competition. So, again, it's going to be one of those where we're going to try to play it with a different group and a different
Tori's always good for at least complimenting looks and appearances, but saying soccer sucks, we still need to work on that, Tor. Just saying.
Well, thank you. We have been working hard, Adam and I. So Adam's spoken for. I may be, who knows.
You don't want to give any secrets away.
No, I speak for myself. Soccer's great. I love the Phillies, but they suck too, so I don't know what you're bringing there. Dan, yes, happy Canada Day. Happy 153rd birthday. 153rd birthday to Canada. Our brethren from the north doing their thing. So
We gotta love them.
yes,
And
47
Dan,
more
you got
years. Make it 47 more years, Dan. You can make your bicentennial.
We'd love our neighbors to the north.
Yes.
Are we allowed to be
Welcome.
in Canada yet? Dan?
No, still not. Nah,
Not yet.
not quite yet. Not quite yet. I'll know when my job pretty much packs up and moves out of town and goes back up to Buffalo, and then I got to figure out what. Yeah, so we're good till July 24th is all I've been told so far.
Right on.
Yeah. So
The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will win. Yes, they will. They always do.
ha ha ha! Very clever. That was actually I'm amazed with the quickness of that wit there.
Andy, what's up, brother? Love you too, always. Good A2D fam. Catch Andy on In This Very Ring. Great show. Him and Butters doing some good stuff.
Yes, sir.
Greggy, I'm assuming Greg's still in Florida, just enjoying the sunshine. Are you back?
He's somewhere warm. Chrome, what's up, brother?
What's up, dude? Miss Cromer.
So, yeah, we got a lot to talk about with, obviously, the poll question and the U.S. team. We had a game right after we went off the air, and we have our final 8 settled for the Euros. Greg just going after Dan with the Canada sucks. And we got a lot of transfers. We got transfers happening. We got transfer rumors, as usual.
Yeah.
Apparently, every club in the world is putting their bid into Messi. Doesn't matter who they are.
I think I've seen like 10 photoshopped Messis with said club jerseys on him.
If I was still coaching that team in the New Jersey B division, I would send him a letter of intent to sign him.
Be like, hey, if Messi's out there, if he wants to play for, maybe a slice of pizza.
Yeah, we could offer a couple slices of Jersey pizza after each game.
Maybe a trip to the shore.
Yeah, I'll give him a ride down to the boardwalk. We'll go down to OC and check out the sponsor.
There you go. OC campus,
show.
checking out New Jersey, Ocean City,
Yes.
I believe.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to.
So where?
I want to say Ritter. Yeah, Andy. So In This Very Ring's doing a Star Wars show this Saturday night. That's exciting for all you Star Wars people like myself out there.
I feel like it should have been timed better with May 4th, but
Yes, still in Florida.
Dan told me to put a mask on. Why would I want to hide this, Dan? Stupid Canadian. I love him.
Ooh, tough. I love the banter and the comments from the fam.
Yes. Well, we got to get started. We only have an hour.
B. Willie, what's good?
Where are we gonna start? That's the question. Do you want to talk more about this team? Do you want to go back to where we left off with some Euros and?
We could get through the U.S. men's national team because, again, there's not too much to talk about besides just the roster, and again, we can highlight some players we're excited to see.
Yeah.
And some guys that need to step up to make this team in the future.
I would actually like to see Canada's roster. I will give
Davies and David.
Canadian athletics are doing good. Their basketball team is doing solid in the Olympic trials. My man RJ Barrett. So I will give credit. We know there are 2 players on that Canada team that would pretty much compete to be on most international clubs. One would make every international club, I think, in Davies. And Jonathan David is definitely no slack.
I think that I saw yesterday, Dan posted that Ao Akinola, the striker from Toronto FC, switched his allegiance from the U.S. to Canada. So that's a big loss for us.
Yeah, we kind of knew that one was coming.
Yeah, I don't think he would, especially the emergence of DK. I think he saw kind of the
literally took the words out of my mouth.
that he was
exactly. Yeah. Again, though, good problems to have. We weren't before. Guys were leaving for other countries not because there wasn't playing time, because they didn't want to play on the team. So it's definitely a different situation here, where if guys are going to walk away to leave, it's maybe because they weren't good enough for once. So that's kind of
he would have
nice
definitely
thing
had
to
fight
see
for his spot to get in, and I guess he saw
Oh,
that
yeah.
DK was
He's a
killing
baller,
it.
though. He's a baller.
He shows good. Hey, man, we'll see how Canada does in these World Cup qualifying. You got through the easy part with the early round qualifying by beating like Antigua and the U.S. Virgin Islands.
That Dutch team definitely looked like they could have used Serginho Dest, so I'm glad
he made
he
the right
chose.
choice. Speaking
He
of
sure did.
good over evil. But yeah, this so the Gold Cup roster came out this afternoon. We have some familiar faces. We have your Brad Guzans, who's obviously most likely going to be the captain with 64 appearances. And you get your Paul Areolas, who, like we kind of talked about, before the show, you kind of know what you got with some of these guys.
Yeah.
You kind of know what you get with your Zardes. You kind of know what you get with, Areola. I think that could have been avoided and maybe, called up somebody else that's fighting for a position. Some of these new boys, like we saw, Gianluca Busio getting his first call up, and this Matthew Hoppe, who had a great season at Schalke, even though Schalke sucked. He was their one bright spot. But it's going to be tough. It always is. This pool has underperformed. You saw it in the Olympics, again, that we didn't qualify for. Pretty similar roster. So there's pressure on this pool to perform. And Mexico is going to come with theirs probably pretty solid squad.
And Canada again.
Canada's going to bring
some of these other South American countries that, like this is a big tournament for these guys. We talk about it all the time, like the other tournaments that we've had issues in and qualifying for the Olympics. This is big to those countries. This is their main sport. This is number one. And no matter what, whether we're the best at it or not, we're still the U.S. and everybody comes for these heads. So it's like that's a thing for them. And I think Benny's Nation said it perfectly.
Yeah, that's basically what it is. Yes.
It is ultimately about seeing the depth, but anytime you enter a tournament, you want to win. Should the expectation of winning be there with this squad? I don't think realistically. I think if you're an absolute realistic supporter of this team and you understand where this team's at, I mean, you expect them to make some noise. It's going to come down to defense. I think we talk about that all the time now, and it's even all the way up to the big team. Like, who's going to emerge and be the guy that's going to help this defense? Because I'm looking at a bunch of guys here, and it's a lot of low cap or no capped guys that are going to get thrown in here, with Reggie Cannon playing one of the wings. But everybody else, other than maybe like Walker Zimmerman, who honestly I really don't even want to see in there, but he's probably going to be one of your starting center backs at least early on in this competition, just because of the amount of caps he has compared to everybody else. There's like that's going to be the key, I think, because Guzan's a good goalkeeper. Sean Johnson's been well if he doesn't perform. I don't know if you probably don't see.
You kind of know what Sean Johnson is, though. He's another one that we're like,
he's not.
He's not going to set the world on fire. He's a Bill Hamid, and he's like a fringe 4 or 5 starter in the pecking order.
Yeah. Definitely. With Hovarth emerging pretty much as the number 2 now, it's kind of
it's tough, man.
Yeah, it's
a good problem to have, though.
It is. And I understand a lot of the guys need breaks, and this is the break. I mean, we do have the more important World Cup qualifying coming up in the winter here, and we got to make sure, and the clubs want to make sure these guys get their breaks when they have the opportunity to get their breaks, So between all of that, I mean, this is a necessity of a roster. But like you said, I don't need to see Zardes. I know maybe he gives you the best chance to win, maybe not. I'd rather see DK. I'd rather see Giannacci again because he's performed pretty well in situations. I want to see Hope get an opportunity. I want to see what that midfield can do. I like Leggett again, but Leggett's the only one that we talked about. I think Leggett and Reggie Cannon are probably the only two right now out of all these guys guaranteed to be on the World Cup roster. Maybe Guzan is a number 3.
Right.
Everybody else is showcasing right now. I mean, I know what Christian Roldan can do, but I guess you need a few of them. We can't totally kill them.
Yeah, it is really comes down to seeing what kind of depth you got. I mean,
yeah,
it is what it is. It's not going to be. You're not going to bring the big guys in there because you know what you got. You know what you got.
You know what I want to see? I just want to see heart. Like when they got knocked out of that Olympic, I just felt like that team didn't bring heart in that game.
They crumbled in the moment because they knew it was a big game. They couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I don't see. But that's why I like DK. He's got to be on the pitch. He's got to get his opportunity because I don't think he's the kind of guy that's going to do that.
Damien says Mexico better get their heads out of their ass and get back to winning. I mean, again, Lord Walker brought this up on Tuesday about how we didn't really talk about the Nations League win for the U.S., which is, again, it's a whole different roster, though. That was pretty much you're going in with your number one, your top guns.
Yeah.
And we did beat Mexico, which is, you got to take your hats off to the U.S. because Mexico definitely got frustrated in that game as well.
They did, but this...
that's what I need to see, though, from everybody from the top down, from the A squad to this now like BC squad. We need to see that same fire because if not, you know how CONCACAF goes. You're going to get, bottles tossed at you when you go to away stadium. Games are going to be super physical. Like you got to shut up. And
yeah, you can't come into this in a little privileged attitude and get all salty because you're getting bumped around and physical play. Like that's going to be what you're going to get here, especially because you're wearing this badge. Like when you're wearing this, like I said, it doesn't matter if we're the best team, worst team. Teams want to beat us because that's going to get known. That's going to get talked about. It's going to get heard. So, and Mexico, to his comment, I mean, they do need to play better. They've been on a little bit of a struggle for their standards. They are missing some pieces, missing Raul Jimenez still, as he's still recovering from that injury and getting back to being able to play again. That's a big piece missing. Absolutely. I don't think Chicharito wasn't on that squad, right? I mean, he's all of a sudden reborn. So. We haven't even given him one bit of credit because we haven't been around and been doing our thing. But welcome back, going from what looked like the worst signing in MLS history to what's he got 10 goals and assists so far on the season for
he's definitely
Galaxy. So.
Stepped up and kind of shut the haters up a little bit this season so far. But
I would expect to see him in here. I mean, these are guys that you're gonna expect to see.
Yeah, I mean, Mexico's a little on the other side. I think they remind me a lot of some of the other European countries where their top guards and their guys are starting to get pretty old.
Yeah.
Your Memo Ochoa's got to be almost 40 now, like 30.
Yeah.
Guardado's up there in age. Like these guys aren't spring chickens anymore. You got to start passing the baton, to the Chucky Lozanos. We know how good he is, obviously. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because Mexico's definitely going to come for blood if we face them again in the final.
Oh, without a doubt.
Because they want revenge big time. Because they hate losing to us probably more than anything. Probably any other country.
And usually, no matter where we're playing them, it's a home game for them. So it's like, that's always a big deal for them to not beat us.
Right. And again, last thing I'll say is that we need to at least get to the finals, I think, because if we want to be known, and I said this kind of in the show criteria, we need to be at least in the final or win it to be talked about still with the top teams going into actual World Cup qualifying. If we want to be the big boys and sit at the big boy table eventually in due time, we need to win tournaments like this or at least get to said final.
Yeah.
And again, Benny, you know, Costa Rica, always a sleeper. They're another one that's kind of like, you got some old guys in there, you know, Joel Campbell, the forgotten one, still playing.
Still going.
Still going.
Great goalkeeping.
And again, what kind of team is Jamaica going to bring? Are they going to bring all those guys that recently have pledged their allegiance to Jamaica, like the Miguel Antonios that are switching from England to Jamaica?
Yeah.
Like, that's no slouch.
Yeah, no, Jamaica's tough. And, you know, going back to with Costa Rica with Naves, I mean, you have what's considered a top 10 goalkeeper in the world on a team like Costa Rica. That's a game changer. It was like when Tim was at his best, when Tim was really, really at his best, that always gave that U.S. team an opportunity because having that type of goalkeeper back there just increases your odds so much more. It makes up for a lot of deficiencies in this game.
I mean, we saw in the whatever World Cup that was now. When was the last one we played? 14? Was the last World Cup we were in? So, 14. So, I mean, that was when Timmy was standing on his head. And we almost beat the Belgians that day. But he had like 20-some saves.
Damien said they hate losing to us more than they hate not making World Cup finals. So that's
exactly. We are priority number one. They have our picture in their locker no matter what team they're playing. They're like, no. Big red on the U.S. and a big circle on that calendar. And even coming up in World Cup qualifying. This is the prime time and the best time, starting with the Gold Cup, working your way to September for the World Cup qualifying is the best time for the U.S. team because now we got to start getting to crunch time, man. We start seeing, you know, what we got and seeing if we can make this freaking World Cup. And again, you know, if you want to be considered the best, you can't miss out on another World Cup. I'm sorry.
So we don't have an opponent yet for our first Gold Cup game. I'm saying, I guess, are there teams that are still?
I haven't even looked exactly
qualified. Because I'm looking at it now, and it has the group stages, but it has on our first games it has to be determined, but then it has a second game for us because these groups only. Yeah, I guess they're waiting. There's 3 teams each in Group A, B, and C missing right now. What can the U.S. do to help grow the men's national team? In my personal opinion, and what's up, Tommy? I've said it, and it's something that I, am trying to embark in at some point here in my life. With baseball, it starts at the youth level. And it really needs to this game needs to stop being glorified in this country as a rich kid sport and go back to its roots of being an everybody sport and why some of these small countries are so successful, because all you need is a ball. You don't even need a goal. You need 2 rocks, 2 logs, 2 anything, 2 markers to make a goal. You just need a ball with some air, and you can go out and play. There's documentaries in France about these guys. We play street ball, basketball. They play street ball soccer. They're playing on concrete, asphalt, cages. I mean, why these guys are so tough, why they are the way they are on the pitch, the Paul Pogbas, all of them, is where they grew up, where they came from, to where the U.S., unfortunately, we have these nice, cushy little clubs already, and sometimes these kids are they're not pushed, and they're not driven, and then again, you hit a certain age, and we talk about it too. Then soccer's like a youth sport, at least for men in this country. It's like, all right, I play soccer till I'm about 9, 10, and then he's big. Well, he can go play football now. We don't worry about this anymore. And then they go, that's, a lot of us did that. Or you get caught up in baseball, and the schedule with baseball and the travel and all that. You don't have time for another sport. You play hockey, you don't have time for another sport. So until they prioritize soccer as the sport, or one of the, make it a real top 5 sports in this country, that's always going to be the hurdle. But we've definitely come a long way, Adam, and I know you can attest to that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I think that it definitely starts with the development. Now we're seeing more kids, skipping out on college, or even skipping out on high school. Not skipping out on high school, but instead of going to high school, they're going to these academies, which is basically you eat, breathe, sleep soccer pretty much all day, every day. And then also you do your schoolwork when that downtime.
Yeah, right there, yeah.
And they have actual schools for said schoolwork. So basically it's, if you're very serious about playing soccer, I think the move is these days to, go for the academy. And not a big deal or anything, but the Union were named number 1 academy in the MLS 2 weeks ago.
Well deserved.
Just
they
because
have,
I don't know. There's a lot of Dallas fans really upset and butthurt because they were, they think they're the best because they have a little bit of a track record, and now, of course, still with Brian Reynolds, and I think even Weston McKennie came from the Dallas Academy too.
Yeah, I think Reggie came through there
as well. Too. I mean, yeah, there is a lot, but again, I don't know if the list is more recency bias with the McKenzies and Aronson, how well they're doing.
Yeah, it's got to go off current. If you're saying current best academy right now, they have to be. Just because of Aronson, just because of McKenzie. They're both starting to stand out for the national team. They're both playing on big clubs now in Europe, and they're playing well. And there's more to come. I mean, that team's still solid, and there's still guys coming up through there. I'm just waiting for Blake to get a job in Europe somewhere.
Maybe.
What's
up, Pete? Yeah, top 3 in the world. That's a pipe dream.
I mean, in reality, we could have been there already if the world was different, and we were just talking about, and prioritizing the sport, I feel like. But I don't need to be a top 3 club in the world. I would like to be a competitive club on the world stage consistently all the time. Not having to worry and sweat that we might qualify for the World Cup, and just know that World Cup's coming, and we're going to have a chance to possibly win it. Hopefully we get in a decent group, I want that mentality.
Well, that's where we need to be when, North America hosts the World Cup in 2026. We want to be competing to win that, and not just, obviously, you get automatic qualification by hosting. So
yeah, I don't want that 3 and done, and they were like, oh, see, they only got in because they were the host.
Yeah,
we can't have that. We got to be competitive by then.
Yes, we know Alfonso Davies is a great player, Dan.
Yeah, and we're currently in production of one of the better right wingers in the world. So
there's a lot of talent, And people don't sleep on Gio Reyna. That boy's naughty too.
Speaking of other talent, congratulations to Conrad De La Fuente too for going to Marseille and getting out of Barca, where he will get more time and probably be an everyday player at Marseille. So that could be good for his development.
Great move, smart move. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I believe what's our first game's the 11th, right? July for the Gold Cup. I saw.
Yeah, it's the 11th, and that opponent is the one I guess that's still to be determined. We're in a group, so just quick while we're still on the Gold Cup. Right now, the groups as stand. Group A is Curacao, El Salvador, Mexico, with a spot open. We are in Group B. We get Canada again, so we'll have 2 with them, which is great. We get Martinique, which better be 2 W's without even trying, and whoever that 4th team is going to be in our group. And then Group C is Costa Rica, Jamaica, and Suriname, waiting for a 4th. And Group D is the only one with 4, with Grenada, Honduras, Panama, and Qatar. So that rounds out the Gold Cup. And I don't know what's determining, to be 100% honest, these last participants, but something has to be. I don't know if it's Copa, maybe how the Copa finishes, Copa America.
I just see there's a preliminary. With it? There's preliminary games, I guess, going on tonight.
Okay.
There's Haiti versus St. Vincent and the Grenadines. You got Barbados in it. You got Trinidad versus Montserrat. I have no idea what island that is.
I feel like the winner of that is who comes to our group.
The Trinidad Montserrat? Yeah.
Because I thought they said there was a potential of a Trinidad-U.S.
Makes sense.
Oh. Yeah, we'll have to follow that, but we'll have more shows on before that kicks off on July 11th. But that will be our first game, 8:30 p.m. against an unknown opponent right now. TBA, Mr. Tibba, Joe Tibba.
Joseph Tibbs. But yeah. So I guess before we get into the Euro stuff and give a little preview of that, just some world news going on, some Prem signings. You know, the coaching carousel continues in the Premier League. If you haven't been paying attention, Everton has a new coach again. The fabulous one, Rafa Benitez, will be taking over at Merseyside starting today, I guess, July 1st.
Yeah, today's official. Everything goes official.
Yeah. Transfer window's open. All loans are done today. Everyone's going back to their clubs. So it's a good day to come on. Also, former Wolves coach Nuno Espirito Santo is now the coach at Tottenham. So that is Tottenham, I think, tried to get like 6 guys before Nuno. So I don't know how I'm feeling if I'm Nuno at this point, because I just feel like I don't know. I feel
settling,
being like I'm low on the package.
It's unfortunate that I now have to.
That's what I'm wondering. I don't know what the Liverpool fans are thinking about Rafa headed to Everton.
Yeah.
After he once called Everton a small club and said he would hope to come back to even Liverpool at some point.
Well, we know that job's not open yet, and all these guys seem to kind of put their foot in their mouth. And years later, Mourinho had done so, and
I mean, you got to say what the fans want.
Right.
At the time to back your club, but then who knows, again, like 12, 15 years later, you're coaching the rival team in your same city,
Yeah, there's no saying 10 years from now Pep won't coach United, it could easily happen. Yeah.
It's a quick trigger, and, if the job and the money is out there, people are going to take it. Like, Rafa's like, all right, well, I kind of like the Premier League, and I thought I did a pretty good job with Newcastle, and they blew me out for I still have no idea why.
And still has a job somehow.
Right. So it's like Steve Bruce is a better coach than me. I still don't believe that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Benny, Jose, he's done it a million times. He's coached United, Chelsea, Spurs now, so he's on fire there.
He's not coming.
They all work out in the beginning, and we all know how they end.
Hey, congratulations, Patrick Vieira, too, while we're on coaches.
Oh, that's right.
Congratulations to him taking the Palace job.
I saw Palace was thinking about bringing former Dortmund coach Lucien Favre in, and I was going to be like, oh, no, that'd be terrible for Palace.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how Vieira does.
I just don't like it because he's another guy who's got a lot of chances before, and he's just what has he really done?
Yeah, I know. But that's kind of
he's a big name, that's it.
Yeah, that's how this sport really goes. I mean, those names will get recycled and recycled before real upcoming. It's not like a lot of the U.S. sports now have we're starting to see that conversion of, especially the NFL and basketball, of these guys that are basically retiring from playing and getting a coaching job like the next year. And they're kind of young and innovative and all that, to where our sport is still, it's like, I'll take the 80-year-old guy that's won in 4 other countries and screw this young kid and not giving him a chance.
I mean, Roy Hodgson's like 100 years old, and he still is getting jobs.
Yeah.
Not anymore, but I'm sure he'll pop up somewhere. If someone needs a coach this year, someone gets fired, I'm sure Roy might be the first. Or Big
Roy
Sam is always around.
Yeah, or somewhere down in the championship. Pick up one of those teams that is close to coming up.
I mean, it's
give them that last push.
It's too funny how some of these you get one job and all of a sudden it's like, well, he's a pretty big name. He's been around. Okay, he's failed everywhere. All right.
I'm waiting to see who Brentford's first Prem signing is going to be. I always get excited when the new teams come up. The other two I could care less about because they were here so soon, or so recently, I should say. That, I mean, it'd be cool if they bring some help in. Most likely they won't. Most likely they'll actually both lose people. So, but I would like to see if Brentford brings somebody in.
Whoa, nice name drop, Dan Abram Grant, the old Chelsea boss.
Yeah.
Is he in Israel? Is that how you know this? Or is he in Russia?
How do I feel about Arsenal being in on Locatelli? Horrible.
This is what we talk about every Euro and every big tournament, like we were talking about a little bit on Tuesday. You get one guy, a couple guys that stand out in one tournament, and all of a sudden, the big dogs come calling.
Yeah, that's not the move that Arsenal needs. I can assure you. There are a lot of other things.
That's a knee-jerk reaction.
It would be, yeah. It would be. Hey, it is looking like Arsenal did get a left back, though, to help out with the often injured Kieran Tierney. I think it was a good move for them. So I'll watch that. Right now, I'm happy. That's all I've really heard. I'm somewhat happy there. I have heard the Locatelli things. I've heard the Ben White things, or if that might even – it's definitely not a done deal by any means yet. There are some that are legit done deals. There's a pretty decent list that, as of today, are official. So, yeah.
Maybe Ben White. Again, I'd like to see him do one more season with Brighton first.
Yeah, that would probably be a – I'm just trying to see any notable names.
I mean, obviously, Jadon Sancho going to Manchester United.
That's
a big one.
Georgie left. A lot of people knew Liverpool. Georgie is officially now with PSG on a free.
Dan, of course, Minor Solomon. I guess that's how Manor Solomon.
Manor.
I thought Dan said maybe West Ham was looking at him. Again, I don't know a lot about the Israeli league, so I'm a hard time knowing like how to rate the guy.
Danny Rose is officially no longer a Spur, and he is with Watford.
Oh no!
On a free. My man, Danny Rose. I love me some Danny Rose. I'm glad he's out of that shithole.
I saw Ryan Bertrand went to Leicester from Southampton.
Yeah, they're Leicester's looking at a few moves here. See, the Kieran Gibbs to Miami is official.
Jesus,
that's a done deal today.
Sick. Makes me sick.
You saw Dortmund picked up Koulibaly, just the one spelled with the C, not the K. So
you almost got me pretty excited. You almost got me really
out of PSG. I had that under my belt all day. I was like, oh, Koulibaly's finally on the move, going to Dortmund, just not the right one.
That's all right, because knowing him, we'd sign him for like 80 million, and then he'd be terrible.
Yeah, Madrid is the team to watch. Madrid's shaking things up. They bring in Alaba. It looks like Ramos and Varane are both out of there. So it'd be intriguing to see how they replace them. I don't know where to go there. Leicester or not Leicester. Leipzig just got rid of their two center backs.
Yep.
And now it looks like Madrid is in the possibility of doing the same. So that's big for these teams. It takes a lot to just throw these new pairings in there and build that chemistry. So it'll be intriguing to see how some of these teams do moving forward.
I saw that.
Your boy Tomori's on the move officially to Milan. That's a done deal.
Figured that.
Yeah.
Oh, Leicester got that striker from Salzburg, Patson Daka.
Yeah. Yeah, he was rumored to Arsenal. He said Arsenal can't pay up Shakhtar for Manor Solomon. Arsenal can pay up. Arsenal won't pay up. That's the problem.
That's the difference. They won't.
Yeah, Ramos to PSG, like he said, that one's done. So Ramos is out of there. And then the Varane talks seem legit with United. So that's who else? What other big names? We mentioned De La Fuente leaving.
Norwich replaced Buendia with my boy, for all my Bundesliga people out there, Milo Rashica from Werder Bremen. Pretty solid young kid who can score some goals. So I thought that was a good and a nice move for him to step up his game a little bit. So that's a nice signing for them.
Norwich and Watford have been busy. I mean, nothing crazy as far as names go, but they're definitely bringing in some bodies to compete here. And luckily for Craig Dawson, he gets out of Watford and gets to move on to West Ham. So Craig Dawson usually gets at least one mention on our show every season for something that he does, because he always has like that one moment.
Right.
So good for Craig. Good for Caden Clark. I mentioned Caden Clark earlier, would have been in the running for the U.S. men's national team for this Gold Cup. Unfortunately, had to have an appendectomy. But he is moving to Leipzig to play alongside with Aronson, to play under Jesse Marsch. This is really good for U.S. soccer. This is really good for him. And he will be on loan with the Red Bull for the remainder of this season. But once this season is over, he will finalize and move there. So that's a done deal. My man Kevin Prince Boateng.
Yeah,
Hertha
KPB.
Berlin, or where's he going? He's going to Hertha.
Yeah, I have it pulled up. Hertha.
Nice.
Yeah, what was the other one I saw? That was Ashley Young's back in the Prem and a free to Villa.
Oh wow. Good old Ashley Young.
Ashley Young's back.
I wonder if there are talks of Pogba to Madrid. I wonder if you'll see something where it's like a Pogba for Varane and money, like a total deal, if that actually does go down.
Right.
Or I think if you're United and you're legit about bringing in Varane, you're not going to move Pogba. You want them together because they play together on France and they have that chem. I would probably want to keep both, but McKinney is officially with Juventus now. It's no longer a loan, so that's huge.
I saw that, yeah. I mean, he had to get out of Schalke with them being relegated.
Yeah.
You don't want to do that.
Konate is on with Liverpool and Opachenko to Munich. So, like we said, Leipzig loses both very good young center backs. So, they're going to be an interesting team to watch in the Bundesliga this year because they've had a lot of movement. I feel like they've gotten better offensively, but definitely have taken a step back defensively.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's Bayern's league to lose always. So
yeah, it's becoming a little U.S. place. You got Aronson, Clark, and Adams now.
Mm-hmm.
3 solid U.S. midfielders.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to see this Konate. If Konate will even, I guess he's going to start. I mean, Joe Gomez was they had a nice little pairing there when he was in, so that'll be a fun competition to see who's going to get that spot.
Yeah, you would think for $41.5 million, you would expect him to come in and start with Virgil.
True.
Or hold the spot till Virgil's completely ready. Because you don't want to rush him back. I mean, there's no sense in
I mean, it's a busy year because, again, you got Euros and then you got Prem season and then you roll right into World Cup qualifying. Then you play the full Prem season and then you got the World Cup again in the summertime. So
yeah,
you got to be careful with some of these guys coming off big injuries like that because Virgil's going to be playing a lot of games. Gomez, I'm assuming he'll be fighting to get that center back pairing with England once healthy. So
yeah,
be interesting to watch. But you want to cover some Euro matchups here for tomorrow, Saturday, before we unfortunately jump.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get into that. Well, as we were going off the air, we had our final game, which was in the round of 16, which was between Sweden and Ukraine. Sweden, the heavy favorites. Unfortunately for them, they got down early on a beautiful goal by Zinchenko. They got back in it with Forsberg leveling them up right before the half. You figured it was going to turn around. And then they did nothing except get a red card in extra time. And they give up a goal in the 121st minute in true dramatic fashion. And Ukraine moves on in what was a huge win for Ukraine in that country. So you got to give credit where credit's due. That team played well. And unfortunately for Sweden, they let them in the door, which we didn't get a chance to talk about last week. Ukraine was only in the tournament still because on the final day, Sweden won a game they didn't need to win against Poland, and it knocked Poland out, and Ukraine got in only to come back and knock them out. So it's kind of cool how that works sometimes.
Comes full circle. Yeah, that red card was nasty, though. That was a leg breaker.
Yeah. We saw a few pretty nasty challenges so far in this tournament. That's what international play gives you. It's that little extra level. You're not just fighting for your club. You're fighting for country. Those guys sometimes will take it a little. And guys that you might beef with all year on your club team is now your best friend on the line with you. And
Right. You got to switch that allegiance
yeah,
button.
yeah.
Well, speaking of Ukraine winning, their win gets them a lovely date with England.
Oh yeah. So that should be a quite the matchup. So yeah, going into the matchups, tomorrow, Friday, July 2nd, got a noon game. So everybody, that's a good one to tune into. A little lunchtime. You got the Swiss team, fresh off their huge upset over France, and they get the beauty of playing Spain. So another kind of world powerhouse that's in the in-between stages, I would say, kind of on the men's, kind of changing of the guards as well. They're not quite the Spain team from 7-8 years ago that was just running through everybody, but they were a good team.
Yeah, a little more youthful with your Ferran Torreses and your Pau Torres, and yes, there's the Busquets of the world, obviously, and the Jordi Albas, and Morata's your striker, for God's sake. So
which is it depends on what day in which Morata shows up. It's either a brace or really bad misses and a loss. It's usually one of the two.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's kind of a toss-up for me because Spain, again, they can be great. They can look really, really good. And then, I think it does. It depends on what Morata you're going to see.
Yeah. Yeah, and did the Swiss team kind of – we see this all the time in these tournaments. Was that the game? Like, did they just give everything in that game, and are they going to come out and lose this game like 3-0 because they all that adrenaline, all that heart, it's tough to keep replicating because in order for a team like the Swiss to go on and win something like this, they have to do that every game they play the rest of the way.
Yeah.
So I'll root for them because I'll root for the underdog always if I don't have a dog in the fight. But it's not going to be an easy task, I don't think, even against this Spain team.
Right.
And then the big game, the 3:00 game, the game I think most people feel whoever comes out of this is probably the odds-on favorite to win the thing. We talked about it on Tuesday, Belgium probably being the number one favorite left in the tournament, but Italy is on a tear. They are on a huge win streak. They were on a huge shutout streak.
Yes.
And yeah, it's definitely a big turnaround. Like we missed the World Cup a couple years ago, so did Italy, and they took it very seriously. And they've worked their way back, and they have a nice mix of veterans and young players, and they have guys who can put the ball in the net and a really good young goalkeeper. So that's a solid matchup.
Defense is never the issue with Italy. It's just who's going to be able to score. I mean, obviously we've seen, the last game, everyone's on Locatelli's wiener, and, now everybody's going to be on Chiesa's wiener because he scored. It is what it is.
Everybody still forgets about it. Yeah, I was going to say. He gets no credit. He just does his job, and they just talk about the guys who come in and help a little bit. But game after game, he just,
Yeah, the fresh faces scoring.
Yeah.
Get all the praise.
Don't talk about the guy who scored in 5 straight. Talk about these other random guys.
and the little guy in the middle always killing it, Verratti.
Yeah, and as much as it pains me because I'm not an Italian soccer fan at all, I've made that very known. I did say in our group, I still like when things are the best. Like I want the best competition, and having a good Italian team always brings the best competition in the world. So it's good to see them back in solid world competition.
Also, probably the best national anthem, hands down, the Italians.
Yeah.
Something about it. I'm not Italian whatsoever, but damn it, when they sing it and this the how it goes. It'll make a grown man cry.
Get a little Pavarotti in there, just going.
You just belt it out. It's the pageantry of international football is unlike anything else.
And this is where we got to really push Tommy, too. We got to push him to dig down into those deep Italian roots of his and get this game on the television at 3 p.m. tomorrow. Put the little man with you, hang out, and watch this Italian team. And hopefully they don't disappoint and make you frustrated and say, this is why I don't watch soccer. But
it's happened with B. Willie before. He saw that Canada game. He saw the Canada loss and was like, really, we suck. Why should I watch this?
Yeah, we got them all hyped up for a Union Championship run, and they go out and
they suck.
Second round. Yeah. So, but that's all right. That's the beauty of the game. You never know.
Again, yes.
And then Saturday we rounded out. Again, noon and 3 o'clock are your times. You got the Czech Republic, kind of a surprise squad again, making it off Patrick Schick's shoulders. Taking on Denmark, the feel-good story of the tournament with their captain and everybody's beloved, even though he was a Spur, Christian Eriksen, going down with that, what we thought could have been a life-ending incident. And they've been hot ever since. So you said it. They're one of your dark horses. Sometimes that's all it takes is something to play for. And they seem to be playing for their captain right now.
Exactly. All you need, every sport, all you need is a little motivation.
Yeah.
And that somehow just united a whole nation and also united a lot of other people watching that match saying, you know what, I'm going to root for – I didn't have a team in the race. I'm going to root for Denmark because it's just a really feel-good story. So,
I mean, look at what Lukaku did as being a competitor to them. And basically he went out and was like, yo, on the 10th minute of this game, we're stopping playing.
Yeah.
And, he was the one. And he's not, he's from a completely different country and everything. But just that relationship they built in that, obviously, they probably knew each other just from playing in the Prem on different clubs. And then getting that time together at Inter, tells you a lot about Christian Eriksen, too. And the person that he must be that everybody really stepped up.
I almost want to root for Denmark to get to the final.
Yeah, I mean, I got no rooting interest necessarily in the Czech other than the fact that they're an underdog too. So I'll root for Denmark in this one. And then the last one, definitely big underdogs, the Ukraine, moving on. Like we said just moments ago, and they are playing probably what we said would be the third favorite or 2A or 1C or whatever left in England. And I didn't want to skip over your question on Benny about Grealish. We just weren't at that point yet. Do you think we see him in the starting 11? Here's my answer. Gareth Southgate's been getting killed. Gareth Southgate got killed for changing his entire system against Germany to kind of play against Germany's weaknesses. And it in the long run, it wasn't pretty, but it worked. I'm not going to question if he doesn't have Jack Grealish in there as a starter, although I would be surprised if against the Ukraine he doesn't. But it's just like Tuchel did with Pulisic, and sometimes a role is more important than a guy's pride or what the fans think is best. Yeah. And if he thinks that Jack Grealish is going to give him that best 30 minutes at the end of the game in a situation where they either need to hold a lead, break a tie, or get a goal back, then that's the move he's going to make. And I don't think we can kill him for it because right now it's working. They're in the final 8, and they're playing a team that they should run through. Now, if he benches Jack Grealish and tries that and they go out and lose to Ukraine, then we'll have an argument. But right now, I guess we can't argue with, as Lord Walker would refer to, Gareth Southgate and his systems right now.
I mean, I'm indifferent on the English team. I think they have a great roster. I think that they're going to be competitive for years to come. And I like Jackie. I don't have anything against him. I think he probably should start because the games and the moments that I've watched for England, I think he's been one of their better players on the field. He's just a bulldog out there, man. You just can't mess around with him. Oh.
Sorry.
We have 3 Brians out. That was really creepy.
Whoa.
Let's bring Brian on. No, there he is. Oh, everybody's gone. Oh, there he is. Which one is coming on?
Coming at you from all directions.
Oh my God! Never a dull moment with this show. Now it's like you're frozen.
I'm frozen. You're frozen.
Oh my God, love it. But I guess this is a good time. We're at our hour. So yeah, I mean, any yellow reds you got? I have one in particular. I just have a combined one for my man Frank de Boer. I know Eddie was talking about him being just not a great coach and always underperforming. Well, I'm going to bank off that and say, yes, he is not good at all. He had an Atlanta United team that was stacked, underperform in the MLS. He had a Netherlands team who is a pretty good squad, underperform. You think there's a pattern there? I think so. Guy's just not a good coach.
And you know what the sad?
And he deserved to be let go.
And the sad part is, like we talked about earlier in the show, he'll probably get a job in 2 months.
Yeah, it's just a big. He had a success at Ajax, who was just like you. If you look back at those rosters, are ridiculous. You better win those leagues.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I think you and I could go and have success at Ajax the way that system's set up.
That's all that's his pedigree. That's all he's got in his back pocket.
Yeah.
That's why he gets jobs, but he's underachieved everywhere he's gone. So in the past 2 stops with Atlanta winning the MLS title, nonetheless, the year before that, and not even doing shit with that team after he took over.
Yeah. And you can't tell me it was because you lost Miguel Almiron. That wasn't the – because everybody else stayed and you added. So it has nothing to do with that one. So.
Bullshit. I'm on Eddie's train. He's just not a good coach.
Yeah. Well, I'll go straight red. And I have both heritages in my blood. I have, the England, Germany, Irish, all of them. But I have to the large group of England fans that drowned out the German national anthem before the game with boos, I thought was kind of disrespectful. And, I get it. We're competitors and it's a world stage and all that. But, I think booing during another team's national anthem is just super weak, no matter what the situation is. I mean, we've literally played sports against teams we were in wars with, and we don't boo during their national anthem. So that was it was bad enough that it got mentioned on the telecast right at the start of that game, and you could hear it. They tried their best to drown it out, but it was just I thought that was kind of whack, but whatever.
A little weak, but the English fans have been known for worse things. So
yeah, and I don't, and all those other things, I kind of stand with them, and I get it, but I feel like that's that one level of respect, no matter what we're doing when it comes to sports and countries. That's just something you don't do. But.
Agreed. Good call.
So.
Yeah.
All right. We are out of here on that note, I guess. We plan to be back again next week.
Yeah, we'll go over all the games that happened in the Euros. Again, anymore, it's the summertime, so there's no Prem season. So it's going to be a lot of international talk up until the Prem starting in early August. And just transfer news, Obviously, we'll get more into the Gold Cup and see how that shakes out with who's going to be that fourth team and who's going to be our first opponent.
Awesome.
And any other fun world news that I'm sure will pop up in the next 5 days that we won't be on. So,
yes.
I appreciate everybody, and I do apologize for Tuesday. Technical difficulties happen, and it's just something that you can't really, when it happens, you're not prepared for it. So on the job, since I'm not a tech guy, it was one of those, I'll hold the L.
Hey, big shout out, like you said before, to Jake for cutting up what we did get that was decent from the show and at least making us a nice little clip from it. So
right. Always shout out to Jake. He does a great job. Yeah.
And Ralphie and
Ralph has always been there for Ralph is an OG day one, from being our producer for the first year to working on all our back stuff with, getting the YouTube stuff up. And it's a good team effort. And again, I guess before we get out of here, I know that we have this new subscription. Sorry. You could get an A2D membership. Like, how cool is that? $10 a month. You get to come on shows, on any show on A2D. We have member only streams that only if you're a member you can hear some inside scoops that we might not say, or we may do something cool, giveaways and whatnot that we'll talk about that you have to be a member to be on. Obviously, any shout outs to any of our lovely membership people, and you get to even pick some, throw out some nice gambling, picks on the Great Money Pot podcast, which I believe is on Sundays or Saturdays.
Yeah, I thought it was Saturdays. I thought it was Saturday evenings. But we'll confirm that. And I actually want to get with them going into this next Prem season and see if we can throw them a few picks for our sport as well.
Yeah,
maybe a collab instead of picking against each other. Maybe we'll actually sit down and do a collaboration of what our actual best picks are, instead of some of the stuff we do where we just try to pick nutty things against each other.
Right. So yeah, that's a nice little perk that we're starting. And also, we got Manscaped on the dock for our paid sponsorship, which is huge for us. That's a nice little come up. Pretty sure that's a 20% off A2D if you go to manscaped.com. It's summer, guys. You don't want to deal with all that sweatiness down there. Just eliminate all just be free ball. We're free balling this summer, boys. That's what we're going to do. So hop on to manscaped.com, get yourself, you get the lawnmower 2.0.
For a guy who's been doing such things for years, they have very specialized products, and it's
good stuff.
They knew what they were doing here, instead of trying to use the old the brawn, and it can get ugly.
Yeah, it's a sensitive
area.
You don't want to get the wrong products and hurt yourself. So
yes.
Again, Manscaped is the thing, 20% off. Just use code A2D. Also, before we leave, our show sponsor, obviously, Specialized Physical Therapy, the good doc, Paul Vidal. These last few days have been absolutely ridiculously hot. So hopefully you guys are staying safe and staying hydrated. And if you're outside, and whatever happens, you got the good doc to take care of you. Obviously, he's got offices in Burlington and Cherry Hill. You could visit him at those locations, or you could go online. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he's still doing the video consultations again. But as we're going along and opening back up, and the life and the world is getting back to normal, get into that office. You want to
get
see
yourself
the
back to
man's
normal.
face up close. You want some like human interaction since we've been apart from each other since I haven't seen Brian in person since February,
Yes.
which is crazy to think.
Well, we'll have a game plan soon. We'll have our and we'll put that out there too for anybody who wants to join us when we head over to what is it, Subaru Park now? Subaru Park.
Yes, Subaru.
So
Nice
we will be heading
ATV
over
tailgate
there.
at the Union game.
Yeah, I'm maybe thinking we'll pick a non-Red Bull game so I can actually enjoy it. So I don't have all you drunks screaming at me when you guys win
True.
like 3-1.
We do play each other at Red Bull Arena, I believe, next Thursday.
Yeah, I mean, you and I could talk about that. I don't think we're going to get anybody else up to that one. I figure, but we can get the A2D fam down to Subaru. There's no excuses.
Actually, I could talk to you about that. I'll be in touch.
Yeah, sounds
'Cause
good.
I think I might have off Thursday, so
I got to double check. Yeah, I got to double check which games I'm working, but I think I may be off that as well.
sweet. All right, everybody.
Word.
Well, thanks again for tuning in. Again, we're going to be back and rolling until I go to Seattle coming up for my cousin's wedding, and then that's what. So there'll be no show on Thursday the 15th because then I'll be in Seattle, but we'll do that Tuesday. So only missing one show. So we're going to get back to it.
Nice.
You know, feels good to get the ball moving again and getting back on the track. So again, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you guys on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
Enjoy
Bye,
those
brother.
Euro games. Stay
Later.
safe. Love you guys.